And hello, this is Indie 1023. My guest today is indie pop singer-songwriter Gracie Abrams. Based in Los Angeles, the musician released her debut EP, Minor, in summer 2020. And since its release, her single Friend and Stay have been in heavy rotation here at the station. She joins me from her family home in Los Angeles via Zoom for one of our Indie 1023 sessions at home. My name is Alisha Sweeney, and welcome, Gracie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I love your EP. And here's the thing, I find your music to be these raw, gentle, kind of cinematic pop songs that I have a feeling will one day be in like a Netflix coming of age story.
That's the goal. That's the goal. We gotta plug that.
I was wondering, has that happened yet? Because I could totally see that.
I was lucky enough to have Stay placed in this Netflix show called Dash and Lily this past holiday season, which was so fun to I binged that in a day because I feel like that's how I'm operating. It's just binging show after show, and to see it in a montage scene was hysterical. Amazing, but I was I can't even take myself seriously right now.
Amazing, indeed. So I love your EP. We're going to talk a little bit about songwriting. Also, we got to talk about cooking because you post all these foodie thirst traps on your Instagram.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
But first of all, I just want to say Happy New Year. I hope you are doing good right now.
Yeah, Happy New Year. I hope you are too. Have you been safe and healthy and...
Yeah, just keeping my little quarantine bubble healthy. We're doing our best. Spending time outside when we can and everything. Yeah. So, okay, so we're a few days into 2021. Did you make any resolutions, set any intentions for this year?
For the first time ever, I actually spent a blocked off amount of time really thinking about all that. And yeah, I think I am, I think because of my writing, honestly, I tend to really be super turned on to sadder or more self-destructive thoughts to then use for my songwriting. And as amazing as that can feel sometimes, it also definitely takes a toll. And so I'm trying to welcome more light into my life this year and to stay positive and to stay, connected to news sources that matter and to the people that I love and just to try to be aware of that every day as much as I can.
Yeah, I love that. Kind of looking back and reflecting back at your past year, pre-pandemic, you were just starting to transition into doing all the things that a breakout musician would do. You were readying this debut album that came out in the summertime. You announced your first tour, and then all of a sudden, pandemic hits. Reflecting back, how are you doing with all this?
I am weirdly grateful for the time that the pandemic has given me to have this slower than expected transition into releasing music on a slightly larger scale than my Instagram and because I have been home this whole time and relying on my family has been so important. And if times were normal, I wouldn't be here with them processing these new feelings and experiences. And so as desperately as I wish for this to be over for every reason, and as excited as I am to be able to tour when it's appropriate, I do think that I have found a lot of gratitude in this time. And also in terms of songwriting, the time and space to pick up my instrument whenever I feel compelled to do so is also that wouldn't have happened. So, trying to be positive.
I love that, family, gratitude, personal growth.
Right.
What have been some highlights that have been more in the public eye as an artist during this unprecedented year?
I mean, it feels bizarre that I haven't played a live show yet, but I've been able to go on Fallon and Kimmel and that was so psycho and weird and crazy and to be able to do a bedroom tour through Zoom and to feel connected to an actual community of people during a time where none of us have ever been so isolated for the most part. Like there have been, you know, little things along the way that have made me feel excited, and honestly, more than anything, you know, any kind of like milestone in my like professional life, whatever that means, like it has just gotten me more excited for after this time to actually be out there and meet people and play music in different places, and so it's a lot of just like anticipation, I feel like.
I loved that Kimmel performance. I thought that was really
Thanks.
special, especially like towards the end when the camera does go out and you can
Thank
see the
you.
full voting statement because it
Yeah.
came on right before the pandemic or right before the election.
Yeah, I was really thrilled with how that turned out.
Because that almost probably felt like you were playing a concert. Like
Exactly. I mean, that, to be honest, is like the most, that is like, that is the closest to a show. Like obviously playing that live for, you know, the camera crew and the team and everything. It was so fun. It was so fun.
So in addition to your few singles, your debut minor, it came out in July. What's your songwriting process like? And I'm wondering, is it the same now during the pandemic?
It's definitely a little bit different because I think we've all like had this year to do a lot of self-reflection, and so I'm definitely actively trying to write about just new subjects because my songwriting process my whole life before I started releasing anything was always just a cathartic experience for me to like take what was going on in my personal life and write about it for long enough that I felt better eventually, and that often, you know, was the result of like sadder situations, and as helpful as that was, I feel like having released Minor, I've kind of said everything I needed to and wanted to about that. So my songwriting process is a little bit different, but also very much based in the same, like referencing what I'm actually feeling rather than kind of like trying to embellish a story or like an idea. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all. I'm actually just not good at it. So I'm trying to just grow from where I feel most comfortable right now.
I hear ya.
Yeah.
I find it interesting right now. I feel like reading interviews with artists, they mentioned that looking at their music, they discover songs that they wrote pre-pandemic fit in perfectly during this time of lockdown. Why do you think that is? And do you find that with your music as well?
I wonder. I mean, I guess if I had to guess, I think that considering how isolated we've all been, at least for me, I can only speak for myself, but like I have been doing so much backtracking, kind of like thinking about just like reminiscing honestly and feeling, you know, nostalgic about different chapters of my life that I like wish I could transport myself back to. And so maybe in thinking about our own histories, we're more attracted to subjects that we had like not had to think about for a while. And I wish that I had that experience. I've been really trying to write forward a little bit, because even in writing Minor, you know, like two of the songs, there were a few on the project that I had written when I was a lot younger, and so I kind of feel like I did my digging in that way, and I used what I loved, and in being like 21, where I feel like every single day I change drastically, like I'm very actively trying to write about right this second rather than reflecting back.
Yeah. So before the pandemic, which I like to call the before times, you
Truly.
hadn't played live.
Yeah.
So we can, you know, we've kind of like called you a bedroom artist in that respect. Do you have any plans or expectations when the time finally arrives on what it'll be like to perform?
I mean, yeah, we had plans for this year, and obviously those fell through, but yeah, I've been visualizing my set for so long, and I loved being able to play with, you know, the band when I did Kimmel, for example. That feeling like was inspiring to me in a way that unlocked kind of this new like creative space for me in quarantine, because I had been feeling very blocked up And so my expectations are that I'm going to love it and that I can't wait to meet everyone. And I I really just, I think that live music after this is going to mean a lot to, I can't wait to go to shows more than anything else. Like I can't wait to play, but I just can't wait to be back, watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who would be the ideal artist to tour with?
Oh my God, to tour with? Oh, I mean, my brain just like shot up. I would die to tour with James Blake. I would, die to tour. I mean, I want to like, I want to like tour with Taylor Swift just to like be on like her crew. Like I want to like do lights for Taylor. I just like, there's so many artists, man, that I would absolutely lose my mind.
Right. Well, okay,
Yeah.
so let's do a quick round of some speed questions. Just first thing that comes to your mind. All right, when you're not working, what's your most favorite thing to do?
Cooking right now.
When the pandemic is lifted, where would you like to travel?
Maine.
Why?
My mom's family is from there. My mom's from there, and it is like the place that I feel most open and centered. And having not gone this year for the first year in my life, I'm definitely missing the trees and the forest and just the water. And I feel super desperate to get back.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's a song that you wrote that you're most proud of?
I think Long Sleeves, it's on Minor, because I'd been trying to write that song for a very long time, and I felt very real closure after doing it. So yeah.
Nice. You have a lot of famous fans. Phoebe Bridgers, Billie Eilish, Lorde have all like praised and name drop you. So whether it's them or beyond, who did you get most excited about when you heard that they listened to your music?
Oh man. Phoebe said some very nice things in an LA Times piece that like I didn't know that they were asking for quotes. I had no idea, and I obviously didn't read the piece until it was out, and that made me feel like really emotional. So I think Phoebe, yeah.
That's pretty sweet. And that was a great profile, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So besides Dash and Lily, what was the last show that you binge watched?
Oh man. Okay. Well, right now I'm rewatching. It's so embarrassing. I'm rewatching Gossip Girl right now. It's so embarrassing.
To get ready for the new.
Exactly. So that's what I'm on at the moment, and I am trying not to judge myself too hard for that. Yeah.
How about your last YouTube search?
Oh, my last YouTube search was was for how to make the best cream cheese frosting.
Did it work?
I will let you know. I'm baking a cake after this.
I will watch your Instagram story.
Yeah, I will be posting.
Okay, musician or band that you can't get enough of right now?
The Hotelier.
Oh yeah. Did you add them to your cool playlist that you just put out on Spotify?
Yeah. I did. I listened to them a lot when I lived in New York, and I randomly have been kind of back in that headspace recently, so I've been listening to them a lot.
Ah, okay. So your father is the film director J.J. Abrams, but I love that he's also a musician, including composing some theme songs of some pretty important television shows. What's the best piece of music advice that he's given you?
Oh man, I wish I were more like sentimental about that kind of thing, because my parents are the most supportive people, and at the same time very much stay out of my way, and that's definitely half them being not remotely stage parenty whatsoever ever and half me insisting that there's a real separation. So in terms of like music advice, I think it's always not from a music place, but just because my dad also is a writer in his own regard, like to just be honest about our own personal narratives, and to come from that place and kind of work from there. And so I definitely try to keep that in mind.
Stay authentic. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go, for those watching, could you impart some advice? How do you stay positive during this time of lockdown?
I've been forcing myself to write for a little while in the morning and write for a little while at night, just journaling, not songwriting. And at some point, mentioning where I feel gratitude. And that typically, I think the reason that's helped me so much is because I will just launch into, like longer conversations with myself about XYZ thing. And it just fills me up every single day and makes me, it's just like a constant reminder, I guess. And that's been super helpful, considering I think like with the news and with everything going on right now, we are constantly being reminded of a lot of really scary and horrifying stuff. And so as much as I also am like, I'm glued to that, and I think that it is really important to be glued to a degree. I also am trying to make space to balance it a tiny bit so that I feel like I have the energy to like put my full attention there when it needs to be there.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. Maybe one of these days, if you tour through Denver, you can stop by the studio.
I
play
would be
some
so
songs,
honored. I hope.
come do a guest DJ. We'll figure it out.
Oh, that'd be so fun. I'd love that.
Okay, so we'll plan that 2021,
Perfect.
2022,
Yeah, bucket
whenever it
list.
happens.
Exactly.
And I just want to say thank you so much, Gracie Abrams. You all should get her debut EP. It's called Minor. It is out right now. My name is Alisha Sweeney. This has been an Indie 1023 session at home. And Gracie Abrams, take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. It was so nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Stay safe.
All right, bye.
Bye. Have a good one.